What's up, you guys? It's PhiDX. It's 7:30 in the morning for me right here, and they announced not only Feng Wei for Tekken 8, but the closed beta test. I'll put a link in the description, but on the actual registration site for the Japanese site, they have patch notes or a rough set of patch notes for what they changed from the closed network test. So a lot of people gave feedback in different ways. I was obviously active on Twitter, trying to get different people's opinions and things like that. And I'm curious what they decided to implement and what direction they're taking the game. I skimmed it briefly. I didn't look too carefully. I was a bit concerned, but we'll get to that. So, changes from the closed network test battle part. So the first section is the heat system policy, just translation thing, I guess. Adjustments were made to make more options work effectively in aggressive tactics involving the heat system. Okay. This is like their philosophy. Okay. The adjustment, the attack performance of heat burst. That's the like dragon hammer where the screen turns blue and then they punch you into the ground. You get a bound. You get a combo extension. The attack performance of heat burst has been adjusted. Okay. Very helpful. That's probably must be damage or frames or something like that. They'll probably, we'll get more details when we can practice with it. Added the effect of withstanding the upper middle attack power crush performance to heat burst. So, oh my god. This means Heat Burst now has a Power Crush effect. That seems like an insane buff, because if you did a Heat Burst at a dumb time and you got counter hit, I never saw that happen actually when I was playing for the whole first week of the network test. Wow, they gave Power Crush to Heat Burst. Well, the behavior when using Heat Burst and Heat Dash together has been adjusted to suppress combos that are too long. Okay. So this was a complaint. I didn't really hear it a lot, actually, but I know Harada was tweeting that he felt like the combos were too long, and some of the feedback they got were that the combos were too long. They have a website thing. There's a little spotlight around my mouse. Anyways, so it seems like that is something they're really doing, is pushing the combo duration down, and behavior being adjusted usually means either probably just taken away is how I'm reading that. If you use a heat burst, you won't be able to use the heat dash as part of the combo. That's a little strange. It feels like the heat system started as this really flexible, high interactivity system where you could do so many different things, but now they've slowly been taking things away. You used to be able to heat dash twice per heat state. If you did a heat engager, you would get like 2 charges. They took away the charge system. Now they're even taking the away to use the burst and the dash together. Shorter combos, I think, that's a reasonable philosophy, but I'm surprised. The amount of recoverable damage caused by the effects of the heat condition has been reduced. Okay, so they reduced the chip damage. That's cool, because some characters had insane chip. Hwoarang defending against him was horrible. Defending against Jack was pretty nasty. So reducing the chip damage, cool, but interesting again that they're reducing kind of the heat identity. Like, it was really broken, of course, but it feels a lot more dull. But obviously we have to see it in the game. Like, who knows how extreme this nerf is. The heat timer is now reduced even if the attack is blocked during heat state. So this is a lot more fair, for sure. But again, it feels like they're taking out like the spice that was in the game. Like, it was pretty stupid that you were constantly in heat. It was pretty stupid that you took so much chip damage. But it kind of forced it so that you had to make a defensive read. Now it feels like heat might be one of those things that you just wait out. And I think that's a risky direction to take it. So I'll talk about that in a sec, but this is probably one of the most concerning things to me. Finally, heat timer consumption by enhanced attack in the heat state has been increased. Okay, so some characters, actually, I don't want to say every character because I didn't try, but most of the characters have moves in heat where you attack and it consumes extra heat, right? So like Lars had his limited entry stance. There were moves there that were empowered by heat and would eat the bar. He also had like this lightning dash that would put him in stance right away, and that would eat a lot of bar. So I think Lars could do 3 dashes. It would each take like a third of the bar. But now if they up it, I'm guessing he gets 1 or 2. Claudio had like could shoot like 4 arrows, I think, off a heat engager. Now maybe 2. I mean, I have no idea what they actually are going to do, but that'll be interesting. Yeah, I think these two are big changes, and I'll talk about why. But let's keep looking for a bit. Battle system. Okay, so like philosophy or policy. In addition to reflecting adjustments from the closed network test version to more advanced versions of the battle, additional adjustments were made to topics in the player feedback received in the closed network test that were consistent with the battle adjustment policy. Okay, so if it agreed with our philosophy, we would do it. I mean, I guess that makes sense. You got to do that as a game developer. Improve the performance of Power Crush. Power Crush is so interesting because it's such a non-traditional Tekken solution. Obviously, it's been here all of Tekken 7 and loosely introduced in Tekken Revolution, but Tekken is a game where movement was such a strong option to counter an opponent's aggression. Power Crush is, I mean, it stands to be seen how good it is relative to movement. Like to me, if you don't want to make a specific read on which way you need to step or backdash or like what move you want to cover, you can do a Power Crush, and as long as the reward is like proportional to how less of a read you want to make, that makes sense, right? So like stepping is kind of a hard read. You're giving up the ability to block, and you're gonna assume that you're reading that they're doing a specific move, so you get the best reward, a whiff punish. Power Crush, you're kind of like, it's going to be any higher mid, and since I'm taking more coverage, maybe I should get less reward. That's my general take on how that should work. So I'm curious what improved performance means. Is it recovery? Is it damage? Is it damage, reducing the damage you take as the Power Crusher? I don't know. The performance of the reversal techniques. Reversal technique has been suppressed. We have also increased the number of type of techniques that cannot be prevented by reversals. Okay, so this is parries. They are nerfing parries. This makes sense because Tekken 8 is such an aggressive game. They want you to attack a lot, and parries kind of piss people off when you're learning how to attack better. So nerfing parries, nerf to Law and Asuka for sure. Probably Nina. I didn't get parried by King very much, so I don't know the situations, but yeah, okay, so nerf to parries. Easier to input backdash and backdash precedence only when second directional key is held in. Oh, it's easier to input dashes, which is weird because that was already extremely easy in this game. It was way nicer. But backdash precedence. So maybe this will improve the feeling of backdash canceling. Like if the second key is held in, the backdash takes precedence over, say, a walk or like a little mini step back. That would be cool. I know they were willing to adjust the backdash and make it stronger, or at least make it feel better to do, based on Twitter, responses on Twitter. The interviews Michael Murray gave with Harada, he was saying that some of the nerf to backdash wasn't just design philosophy, but it lined up better with their ability to implement better rollback. They said if people aren't backdash canceling as fast, things like that, rollback looks better. People aren't teleporting as much around the screen. So these are adjustments that aren't my favorite, but I can understand the reasoning behind it. And, you got to make sacrifices as a game developer. Restrictions were added to the combo after it hit the wall. Okay, so we'll just have to test it. There's no way to know. Other behavioral... Okay, thanks. So, I mean, they're making a lot of adjustments, and that's cool, because a lot of the Tekkens take a lot of iteration to make progress and finally get things right. It takes a while. Okay, special style. Expanded, adjusted the functionality of the special style to allow players to enjoy more strategic tactics when using it. Cool. Variation of signature moves with square has been expanded, or left punch. Multiple moves can be selected and performed with directional keys. Oh, this is really cool. In addition to the low attack performed with circle or 4, right kick, another lower attack or throwing technique can be performed in combination with the directional keys. This is cool. So they made special style have like a Smash Bros function. And this was cool because I tried special style for a bit and it's a toggle. You can't like hold down special style, do your move, and then let go. So you toggle it. So for me, because I play the game like on classic controls, it was hard to go back and forth. I couldn't really leverage it to do like a good move or something and then go back. So this is cool because now you can stay in special style longer and pick more moves. Directional keys, I guess this helps get people started too on like understanding the Tekken system. Like when can you hit backwards in a button, forward in a button, down in a button. I'm a fan of this. I'm a fan of special style. I think that if you're a casual player and you have no interest in sweating when you're playing the game, you can enjoy the story. You can enjoy basic multiplayer. You can play it like a party game. And by far the way Tekken 8 is going, it feels a lot like it's going to be a sick party game with the clash of this. So I really want to talk about this, but let me keep going. Okay, where did we leave off? Reviewed and adjusted techniques that are activated by 4, 1, 2, or 3 without inputting directional keys. Okay, so they changed the buttons that special style does when you don't hold a direction. This is a cool change, man. I'm a big fan of this. To improve battle, effect. Oh, okay, graphics. To improve battle visibility, give players a wider range of options. Reviewed and adjusted brightness, shape and range. Brightness has been reduced. Okay, cool. The effects were insane, and it was so hard to stream the game because you would run up against Twitch's like bitrate, and it would look pixelated no matter what you did, no matter how good your internet or your PC. So, yeah, this is a great change. Others adjustments were made to items that were requested by closed network test. Buttons can now be assigned to L3 and R3. Nice, more binds. Costume presets. Oh, for the beta, sick. Very, very cool. Oh, okay, and then these are other things available. Okay, so quick overview for what's in the beta. Matchmaking anywhere, Tekken Fight Lounge, matchmake anywhere, chat, emote, interact as friends, I guess, or like social. Ranked or group match. What is group match? Team battle? Spectating ghost match. Cool. Customization is going to be in this, but you can't transfer it to the main game. Rank limitation up to 10 rank, quick match, battle tutorial, options. These options were in the other thing, the network test. Nothing, avatar camera, I guess, is new. Community. Okay. I wonder if a block list prevents you from matchmaking with them. I don't think that's, I don't know if that's a good thing. Anyways, new characters. Raven, Azusina, Fang. Continued characters. Okay, weird. So they are not including Yoshimitsu or Steve or Leo, who we saw in one of the trailers at EVO. Only the characters that got a full announcement are actually in. That's a little disappointing. I think Leo would have been cool to see. I really wanted to try Yoshimitsu. And obviously Steve, because, those are two characters I'm really interested in. But we will just probably play with the new characters, I think. I think that makes the most sense. And then they added Ortiz Farm one stage and then kept the past 5. And then the rest looks like going through specs and things like that. Okay, so this is cool. I have really strong opinion. Well, I don't know about strong opinions. I got opinions about the heat system nerfs. Okay, so I want to look at this first from the effect of a casual player, actually. As a casual player, something that they really did was like the special style, right? This allows you to have more moves to pick from. You don't have to think about all your inputs. You don't have to memorize all these things. And the way their auto combo system works in special style, I'm guessing now they're giving you new moves and new combos with those moves when you mash different buttons, kind of like an action game like Bayonetta or Devil May Cry type thing, This is really cool. This lets people dip their toes into the game, get into the game, play with friends, and still do cool moves. So you're not just playing like, if you watch like newer players play Tekken, there's a lot of jumping and like small punches, no like big hits that are really fun. So this kind of solves that problem. To those kinds of players, I think nerfing heat is actually really bad. I think that especially these two things. So the heat timer, so I played the first week of the closed network test after following all of the news, after playing at an offline test at Combo Breaker. I probably had the most experience possible to like prep my brain to play the game, study how the thing works, try it out one time, and then try it out again. Even with all that experience, heat felt really short to do the cool stuff. Okay, so I would play, say, Claudio, and I would want to shoot arrows at people, or I would play Lars, and I'd want to do the electric dash and try and do my mix-up. And it would eat up so much of the heat bar that I wouldn't get that many tries per game, And it got to the point where I just stopped using it because I wasn't getting any reward because I couldn't figure out how to use it. And the other opponent still wanted to fight me, obviously, right? So I didn't really get time to just play around with it. I thought that even like for me, someone who plays like professionally and had all that experience, trying to play Heat in a really scrubby way was kind of not fun. There wasn't enough time. There wasn't enough heat meter. There wasn't enough chances to get like good reps in, right? And then understand how it works and kind of laugh, right? Like if you're playing with a friend, you're trying to beat each other up. It's cool to see your big moves go off over and over. It's cool to see this like god mode that you're in with Heat and try out all these new things. You don't kill them, so the other guy now he gets to do it for you for a while. And since the game is brand new, all these things like if it's a really casual base, I doubt they'll sit down and practice that long. So reducing the amount of time they can interact in that space feels weird. Okay, that's from the casual perspective. From the professional perspective, or really competitive, I think it could go either way. I think it does one thing where, you know, Heat was so strong that it was kind of ridiculous, right? Like it was insanely broken. Somebody could just activate Heat at the start of the round and then chip you down. So that was obviously stupid and not like competitively healthy, right? But what a lot of players I talked to liked about it, at least, was compared to Tekken 7, where we're all afraid of getting counter hit, we're all afraid of getting low parried, and we're all afraid of whiffing a button or like a hitbox that doesn't work, right? So that leads to a big metagame of doing nothing. I talk about this in some other videos, and you know, I've beaten that horse to death. Tekken 8, at least, even if it is ridiculously broken or really dumb, brought about this era is crazy to say. It's bringing about this new gameplay like paradigm of like heavy interaction, at least, right? So yeah, one guy's a god and he's chipping me away and I gotta fight for my life. But it creates a situation where as the attacker in advantage, you can play your options in a way that force your opponent to respond. And if you're paying attention to how they responded before, you can understand how they might react and manipulate them into getting blown up. At least with the really good Heat state, that threat existed, and it created a clear advantage, disadvantage that could be played around. Versus, you know, in Tekken 7, if you have huge plus frames or you have huge frame advantage, a good movement character can still evade what you're doing. A good counter hit character can just end your life. So even if you have a bit of advantage, you're always about to die. So it's better to just disengage, kind of hit and run, and just chill. And you can see that with every major that comes by. Like the grand finals get more and more optimized, and less happens in Tekken 7. So my concern on the professional level about nerfing Heat like this is, what if it becomes the same thing? Somebody activates Heat, okay, I'm just going to sit there and stand block for the next, like, I'm going to backdash and stand block for the next, like, however long the new Heat state's going to be. And now that your Heat timer doesn't freeze when you're when you're blocking their attacks, or you're not taking as much chip damage, or if they choose to use a Heat power move, they lose the state faster. As a defender, I don't really need to make a decision anymore. There's no need for me to make a read or make a defensive read. I can just sit there and just be like, all right, well, your Heat is going to run out, so I'm fine. That, again, more fair competitively. Is it more fun or interactive? Remains to be seen. We'll have to test it in the beta. So I'm concerned about the nerfs to Heat, especially the reduction of flexibility. Like, even though the combos got kind of long, we were a lot of players who were really like experts at their character, like a lot of the Lily players, a lot of the Jack players. We were seeing so many cool optimizations and cool expressions and explorations of combos that you could see applying in different situations. I need super wall carry on the new big stages. I am right here at the wall. I just want to keep like throwing out as much damage as possible. Or like, what if you balcony break early and then try to get to the wall versus you balcony break late? How can you save your resources for a really cool combo? I thought, I didn't know how they would be able to reduce combo length without nerfing these, to be fair. So they were put in kind of a hard situation, but I would like to see some way for the expressiveness or the like uniqueness to remain a strong component of the Heat system, because I think the same combos over and over again, especially with Tekken 7's design philosophy where one combo does everything, right? You don't have your better Okazemi wake up combo. You don't have your power combo that you give up frames for. You don't have a flip over combo for really good advantage that might be a little bit harder to hit or require some more unique timing. A lot of Tekken 7's combo game has been reduced to just do this one combo. It does the most and gives you the best situation. I'm hoping that the changes they're making to Heat in an attempt to make the game more competitive, which I really support, doesn't just destroy the uniqueness or the interactivity, right? Because we just came from a game of very low interactivity. That would be, I think, a lot to stomach as a long-term competitive player. Not even me. I'm thinking of the people who have been playing this game for like 14, 20 years, right? Yeah, those are my takes on the new balance changes and adjustments they made for the beta test. I'm really excited to try it, and I'm hopeful that as feedback continues to come in, as more people get their hands on the game, we'll start to arrive at a really fun product. I'm already excited, I think, just on a technical level. Like, they've had experience with Tekken 7's PC port having so many crashes, long load times, data getting corrupted, storing things locally. I'm hoping that this product, just Tekken 8 as like a digital product, will actually be so much cleaner and easier to interact with. And already in the network tests, load times were so fast, rematching was instant. I was a big fan of that. So hopeful for the next set of changes. I'm glad they're at least listening to people. That's like a blessing. I think I think it's important that the community is really responsible about how we engage with the developers, because this is a huge privilege. Like, they don't have to talk to us. They could just make the game how they want. So at least having that dialogue is kind of a big deal. And I really appreciate Namco for, taking all of our input, even if it's not always implemented. Like, just the fact that there's a dialogue is huge. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed my thoughts on that. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to hear more of this stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.